Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Marvel's KARNAK figure, a figure which is both good and bad, surprisingly. I know a lot of you are getting tired of Marvel Legends reviews, and it's not like it's fun for me to review a bunch of bad figures, but they're not all bad, and it's still my job to review things, and this is a popular line, so I can still serve the community by reviewing them. So I'm not going to stop just because most of them suck. Some of them are good, and I should be able to point that out, and I should tell you guys which ones are good and bad and somewhere in between. So we're going to keep doing it. So let's go ahead and get this guy off the stand and take a closer look. I will take a quick look at my package before we get started. They used the wrong character design for the card art, which is interesting. Because this is actually an accurate look for KARNAK. It's, I think, his original look, where it's just the basic, no details in the suit at all type of look, and in this one they used a different look, so, you know, effort was made there to get it wrong. Okay, this guy stands roughly, including his giant melon, 17 centimeters. That's going to be roughly 6 3/4 inches, pretty close. Here he is up against his body double, Darwin. He's a little bit taller because he has the extra dome, but otherwise it is a Darwin body. And I do have the video slightly dark. I'm going to see if I can brighten it and post in a way that makes it easier to look at. This solid white plastic does not like studio lighting, so I'm trying not to wash it out. We'll see how it goes. Okay, question of the day. How much of a Marvel Legends collector were you before, and are you still? I'm seeing in a lot of comments that people are saying they have reduced their collecting of Marvel Legends significantly, so I'm curious if you guys can weigh in on that in a more official capacity, and maybe we'll be able to find out something through those anecdotal details. Okay, so this guy's aesthetic. It's straight up Darwin with a loincloth and different forearms and a different head. Okay, it's actually not that, considering that's what it is, it's not that bad. So I'm not just going to tear it to pieces because it's a Darwin body. It's actually not that bad for him. Like, the Darwin body still blows, but it's okay enough. Like, if they're going to use crappy bodies, it's okay enough for KARNAK. I think he probably would have been better suited on the Sunfire body, but this is acceptable at least once you get imposed. Now, as far as effort that was put into this guy, it's straight up molded plastic. Everything is molded plastic except they had to paint the boots, which is interesting because they painted them a nice flat finish, which it matches the green pretty well, and it looks okay. But everything else is molded, obviously, where they could. This is painted, because this is a new part. So they painted the green metallic on there. They painted the green on the hands. They painted the neck. There's no shading anywhere. There's no detail paintwork anywhere. Even the paintwork on the neck blows. Then they painted the face, which is okay. They did paint the lips, but they're not as terrible as they have been. We have a little bit of differentiation between the greens there. It looks okay for being a solid, molded, crappy figure. Okay, for Marvel Legends standards, this is like par for the course, but for $25-26, there's no way on a body that's almost completely reused that they shouldn't have done some shading on the whites and the greens. Come on, it's so cheap. It's so cheap, and it's already not a great body, so the only good thing about this guy, I think the hands are probably new. I don't remember somebody having those brace things on his hands. But anyway, on a body that's almost completely new, what the heck? What the heck? There needs to be paint. Not for this price point. This is not acceptable. It's not good enough. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 just because I do think they did a good job with the head. And at least the whites are clean. Like, the colors are consistent enough. So that's okay. But it's still, like, for $25-26, if you weren't already bought into the Marvel Legends line, this is garbage. It's not good enough. Now, as far as accessories go, they went above and beyond. We got 2 fist hands and 2 of the karate chop hands. That's it. 2 out of 10. Not enough. There's way too much reuse at this point in Marvel Legends. There's no paint and too much reuse to not be getting accessories. They have to be making up for the difference somehow, and they're not doing it. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive into the articulation. There's a little bit of an interesting thing to talk about, but otherwise it's par for the course. We have the hinge and the ball peg combo, so he can look up nicely. He can look down well enough. He can rotate. He can lean, but the joint is too high, the pivot's too high, so it's kind of useless. But, I mean, it's there, at least. So, it's okay, I guess. We have the butterfly joint that Darwin has, but on this guy, you can actually see inside. You can see that white peg. Hopefully you can see it. Let's see if I can make it easier for you. I don't know if it's going to focus inside. There, you can kind of see. That white peg is what's limiting the range. If you can go in there and snip it, which you might be able to do if you're very, very careful, you can get at it from the back, too. If you can get in there and separate that white peg, you'll get better butterfly joint range. So yeah, it's very limited range as is. You do get your full rotation, of course. If you force it, you can get the shoulder up to just about horizontal. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbows are okay. The gauntlets limit the range. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. Yeah, that's fine. Ab crunch on this guy has always been questionable. You really have to crank on it. Let's see if it'll go without breaking. There you go. It really opens up that chest. Man, they suck. They suck so bad. Okay. Oh man, best toys in the industry, best looking, whatever he said. It's just every time I review one of the figures, I think about that quote. I think he said best looking, but maybe he said just flat out best. I don't know. It's nuts to me. All right. And then you can really force it. It seems like that's as far as it goes forward, but you can really force it and get it to go one more notch. And so it does have good range, technically speaking. You just have to apply a little bit of force. You might get some marring at the edges, but it's not too bad. The skirt is a floaty piece, so you get your standard waist twist under there, nothing special. Kicks high, no doubt about that. Darwin can kick high. The leg goes back just a tiny bit, going out to the side, terrible range. Thigh swivel is a thigh swivel. Double jointed knees work. You can see how much longer his lower leg is than it should be, but on a skinny body like this, it's not as noticeable. No thigh or boot swivel. Ankles go all the way back and all the way forward. Very nice ankles, and they have a good ankle rocker. So Darwin does have some decent articulation, but it's not as good as it should be, especially given the fact that it's a reuse. Like, there's so much reuse, things should be better. Just make them better in the first place, and then when you reuse them, people won't care as much. Articulation wise, I guess for Marvel Legends, 7 out of 10, it poses pretty well, but he's still skinny and goofy looking. So there's that. Okay, so time for a final verdict on this guy. As far as a almost completely reused body KARNAK figure goes, it's fine. They went with the most basic design for him, which is a very basic design, so it plays to their strengths, which I can't really fault them for. But it kind of sucks they didn't use a slightly updated look and give him a little bit more detail, or at least give us some shading or some better accessories or something. There's too much reuse for not painting anything and not giving us accessories. Too much. That's my final thought on that for the brand. Now, as far as the figure goes, for Marvel Legends, it's a 6 out of 10. Like, the head's nice, the colors are appropriate, it's okay. It's definitely a passable spot filler. It's not terribly egregious, but man, a little bit of shading would have gone such a long way on this guy. Imagine if they just shaded everything. It would have looked so much better, and I would be way more willing to accept this at a $25, $26 price point. It's just not good enough, and they know it, and they don't care because so many collectors don't care either. It's a shame. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel. Make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.